Hi guys, this is Alex again, and I am here to talk to you about Pinterest and how I use it in the ELA classroom. So, when we think of Pinterest, I think we think of things like cake design and food fails and recipe fails and that kind of thing. But Pinterest is a great way for your students to get creative and for you to market books in your classroom. So I can think of two ways that you can use Pinterest in your classroom. The first being a alternative to book talks or just going to the library and picking out a book. So the great thing about Pinterest is it allows students to be creative in what they're doing and really personalize what they're doing. So let's say I picked up a book and I really liked it. Well, we could go in and we could create a board on this book, and we could pick out different pins that I think represent this book, instead of students just seeing the back of a book and maybe thinking, oh, this isn't for me, or they see the cover and it's not interesting or whatever it is. Well, if you have students connecting to other books, then maybe your student will connect to what another student is saying, and they will want to read the book because of that. The second way I can think of using Pinterest in the ELA classroom is to create a collage. Now, I know the cut and pasting collage, it's messy, it's time consuming, it takes a lot of energy and resources. Well, Pinterest is a great way to create a collage that is digital, it will be there forever, and it's another good way for students to look at books and see what they want to read, what they don't want to read. Also, it's a good way to keep track of books for studying. So, I created this Pinterest account through my Gmail. It was really super easy. And now I can create a board. So let's say we're reading The Crucible. And we can even make this secret if we want to. But I won't make it secret. So we'll do The Crucible and we'll create a board here. So now we have The Crucible. If we want to add our own pins, we can go to Create Pin. And we can go to Google and we'll look up The Crucible. We can go to Image. And let's say I really like this picture, so we can save it. We don't want to click on it. We just want to save it. I can go back to Pinterest, and it's easy as drag and drop. Now, I would ask my students, why do they like this pen, and I would ask them to put this in the description. So I like this pen because it really shows Abigail Williams' puppet mastery over the characters, and some of the ways, they hung the accused witches and that kind of thing. She's got on this, what we think of as like a pilgrim outfit, and I think that it really connects to the text. So I would have them write that kind of thing in the description. So we click Done, we click Save to The Crucible, and now it's there. So another great thing about Pinterest is there are already a lot of pins that you can use. So if I want to look for pins, and let's say that I look for The Crucible, which I've already done, so it saved my search, and I find this pin. Well, this is a great study pin. We have Abigail Williams, who is the leader in the woods, but, she's also affects all of these different people. We've got John Proctor, who also affects these different people, and you can kind of see how they're connected. So I really like this pen, so I'm going to save it to The Crucible. It's easy as that. Another way that you can do this, a good way to use this, is you can look for things that connect to the book that are historical or relevant. So you can see here I've already searched for Salem, Massachusetts. Well, now we can see what Salem, Massachusetts looks like in real life. And they're a very historical city, so they keep it up. So we have Salem Witch Museum, and we can put it in The Crucible. And that kind of gives us a better idea of what we think of in the book. And you can see the little witch crosswalk, which is really cool. So we can save to the crucible. Here's another thing, the burying point. That's very cool. So another thing to search for would be the author, which we all know Arthur Miller was a very interesting man. So we can go in and we can save pictures of him, and we can find out more information about him and the plays that he's written. So we can go to Arthur Miller Plays. So we've got The Crucible, The Death of the Salesman, which I think is probably his two famous. You even have this article here, Why I Wrote The Crucible, and it takes you to different sites, and you can save that for reading later. Okay. And so, one last one, we'll look at the Salem witch trials. And you find all of these other kind of pins, like here's the Witch House, 1642. We've got this really cool, the Salem witch trials, gives you some information on it. So we're really letting our students explore things outside of the book, or things that they're looking in the book that have real world connections. Here's some art. And we can add that to our board. And then, we're kind of creating this like spider web of things here. Here's one more, we'll save this one more pin, because it looks like the trials. So now we can go in, and we can look at our board, and we can see all these different types of pins that we think are connected to the crucible. And students can see all of these pins that are connected to the crucible as well. As I said before, I think Pinterest is a great tool that you can use with your students in the ELA classroom. It's a great way to get them outside of the book and collecting empathy for others and creating empathy for others. And I will absolutely use Pinterest in my classroom in the future.